Since our weekly weather forecast is going to be very close to our hourly weather forecast, what I want to do is copy these variables from here, actually with the getters as well, so we don't have to type them again. And let's put them here. And then we are going to need for our weekly weather forecast an initializer as well. So let's copy this one and put it here as well. And our function to download the weekly weather forecast, we are going to write from scratch together. So let's say class func, and this is gonna be download weekly weather forecast. And let's straight away put our completion handler here. So we say completion, and this is going to be at escaping, and we put our return, which is going to be weather forecast. And again, it's going to be array of weather forecast objects, so we put an array of weather forecast, which is a weekly weather forecast actually. And we say void because this function is not gonna return anything. So once we have our completion handler here, we're ready to return something. But first, as with our other two models, we need our URL. So let me copy this one so we can work on this. I'm going to paste it here, but instead of hourly forecast, let's call this weekly forecast URL. And we need to modify this because currently it's set for our hourly forecast. So what we are going to do is, after the forecast, I'm going to put enter, and we are going to say that we need a daily here. And then I'm going to get rid of this. Then it goes our city, country, and I need to specify how many days I want here. Instead of hours equals 24, I'm going to say that the days equals to 7 because I want to receive the information for 7 days. And the rest we're going to keep as it is. We need the key, and we have our hard-coded location here. So we have our URL. Again, we are going to access our Alamo Fire, and we're going to pass a request here with our URL, and we are going to get a response, which is a JSON, and hit enter. I'm going to call this response, and of course we need to get our result so we can check it. So we say let result is equals to our response dot result, and again straight away I'm going to create my array because we are going to return some kind of array with weekly forecast, weather forecast. So I'm going to say let, actually we need a variable because we're going to update this one. So we say variable forecast array is equals, not equals, we put the type first here, and this is going to be an array of weekly forecast, and it's an equals to empty array. And then I'm going to say if result is successful, and then we have an else here. For else, I'm going to straight away call my completion handler, and I'm going to pass my forecast array here. And I want to put a print statement as well. So say print no weekly forecast. So we have some kind of printout on the console that we have something goes wrong here. And for our result, even if it was successful, we want to still return our array. But first we need to put something there because currently is empty. So again, we need to check our dictionary, and then we need to check how many objects we have in our dictionary, because let's just print the information. So I say print, and then I'm going to say weekly data, and let's put our result here, and we're going to check and print our value. So you will see that we will have 7 results this time, because we need 7 days, and it will have 1 for each day. And to make it work, we need to go to our view controller. Let's get rid of this part here. I'm going to say weekly weather forecast dot download, and let's no, we don't need this. Let's see, this is a class func download. Yeah, we don't want an initializer, we want download weekly weather forecast, and this is going to be just let's say weekly array as my variable name here, but we're not going to print anything here because all our action is gonna happen here. So I'm going to run my application so we can see how many objects we actually print. Right, let's scroll up, and we can see again weekly data, which is optional, and we have city and country. Then what we are interested in is our data. And here goes our dictionaries, 1 for each day. And then this other one starts, and this we should have 7 of them. So we need to take this information and get our required information that we are actually interested in. So let's get rid of this print statement, and instead I'm going to check if we are getting any results. So we say if let dictionary is equals to my result dot value, and I need to specify that this is as dictionary, which is a string as key and any object as value. Let me just close this so we have more space. And if we do have a dictionary, then we check if var list is equals, and then we say dictionary, and the key is data. So we check if we have a data there, and we need to specify that this is gonna be an array of dictionary with string any object format. And once we have a list as well, we can actually count them. And the reason we're counting, remember, we are getting for 7 days, but we want to display only 6 days, because the first thing in our array will be our current date, and we don't want to display our current date because this is our current weather information. So what we want to do is to take our list, which has 7 objects in it, and remove the first one, which represents our current day. So we say list dot remove at index, and the index is going to be 0 because Swift is using zero-based array system. So once we remove, let me put a note here for you so you remember, remove current day. So once we remove our current day from list, we have 6 objects left. I can even print, let's say, number of days. And this is going to be our list dot count. So you can see how many we have left. And then we want to go through it. So say for item in list, and we can use our initializer for our class here. So I say let forecast is equals to weekly weather forecast, and let's initialize it with our item. And then once it's ready, we will add this to our array so we can return it. So we say forecast array append, and we're going to append our forecast. All right, and what I need is to remove my empty lines here, and one from here and one from here. So let's get back to our view controller here, and since we are now getting something back, I want to say print, let's say forecast in weekly array, and let's print like forecast dot date. Actually, I need to say print forecast info, and let's do string interpolation here. So forecast date, forecast temp, and forecast icon, weather icon. So if we run it now, we should see results here for 6 days. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and says number of days is 6 because we removed the current date. And as you can see, the second day is March 2nd, and my current day is March 2nd here. 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, the thing is, let's see if I don't remove my current weather forecast at 0. Let's see what the date will be on the first one. So it's still March the 1st for current. This is strange. In my place it's now March 2nd. Anyway, it returns all 7 days, so it's for this week, and we don't need to get the first one. So let's get rid of that line anyway. We need this line in order to remove the current date. So we have our weekly weather forecast as well. Let's just make our code a bit cleaner and close these empty lines here because we no longer need them. Right, so this class is ready to be used. So we have our 3 classes, and now we can work on our user interface.